Welcome back to Game 2 of the day, which has Cloud9 facing Clutch Gaming on the other side. We're going to start with the starting rosters. On the blue side, selecting it is Cloud9. Kumo remaining in the top lane, Svenskar in the jungle, Niski in mid, Sneaky and Zeyzal at bot and support, with coaches Reapered and Rapid Star.
And facing them on the red side today, it's going to be Clutch Gaming. In the top lane, Huni. In the jungle, Lyra. Mid laner, Demonte. Bot and support will be Cody-san and Vulcan, with coaches McScrag and Thinkard.
It's going to be an interesting match. Clutch load onto the Rift after a rough game versus Chronologic Gaming. They tried their hand at a different look, and it didn't look great.
Yeah, it didn't really work out for them, but it's nice to see them experimenting. They certainly weren't as refined on the Sona bot lane, though, and Cody-san has always traditionally been this marksman-style player. He did kind of take some different build adaptations, not upgrading to the Sight Zone for a really long time and things along those sorts of lines. And they also kind of had trouble really picking their fights. They weren't able to kind of find the engages that they needed to push the pace of the game enough, and eventually you saw 6A, 6 items on the Sivir, and things got tough from there.
Well, of course, they're against Cloud9, and they are probably the hottest team in North America right now, considering the fact that they just beat Team Liquid, and that was with their new top laner rookie coming in and stepping in for Licorice and solo killed Impact while doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Kumo had an incredible debut, taking down Impact, taking down TL, and it wasn't like he was just along for the ride. He was the driving force of that, played incredibly strong, and Niski as well was very big in that game. His Vigar was so powerful. And he said that he wanted to bring out a lot of different champs. He wanted to experiment, try bringing out some of these more weird champs. And you could see Jensen didn't look fully comfortable against it.
That's true. The Veigar was really effective, and that was pretty impressive. Right now, though, not getting banned away. We'll see what does come through. What we are seeing banned is Huni's most played champion in Rumble. More than double any other champion he has played, so that is Cloud9's first ban. No Zyra Khan allowed. No Sona. Clutch not wanting to pick it themselves, but that means Yuumi is up. With Sejuani gone, it's a pretty easy first pick.
Yeah. I mean, the Sona ban makes a lot of sense also. Sneaky and Zeyzal have been playing a lot of Sona Taric, that sort of style. I do think that Yuumi, is going to be a bit of a different look for them. I don't believe we have seen any Yuumi games thus far from Zeyzal, so I wonder if they're going to be able to grab something along the lines of the Sivir. We have seen that be pretty effective. Sivir Yuumi, I think, is one of the strongest duos alongside it. Being able to hit that prowling projectile, you get a slow, and then the boomerang blade becomes very easy to connect with multiple parts of that. Lucian plus Yuumi has also been quite popular. The speed ups there, the chase down potential with the constant slows can be very strong also. So I'm pretty interested to see which direction they're going to go.
We'll wait to see as the drafts do shake up. One thing I have noticed that I find very interesting is Clutch has an absurdly good early game. They average up a turret at 15 minutes. They have 8 out of 9 games. They actually gotten first turret of the game so far in the LCS. That's actually been pretty exciting overall. I like the smiles.
Isn't it not even enabled?
Doesn't matter, the crowd's cheering.
Okay. He's baiting you.
That's okay. As long as the crowd cheers, that's all I really care about. Jace for Kumo. It worked against Impact. It'll work probably again here.
Yeah, I mean, Niski was talking about how he thinks Kumo is really good once he's actually, on one of his comfort champions. And certainly Jace looked like that yesterday. Nautilus has pretty much always been the answer, it feels like, to Yuumi. People are almost exclusively picking that as an answer in NA. We saw that a couple times yesterday. It's really strong all-in potential, and that is kind of what you're looking for, point-and-click CC. Yuumi can struggle sometimes in these all-ins because if you are attached, you're not trading out those auto-attacks, you're not getting in additional damage, which do make such a big difference in the all-in. And if you are separated, you're very vulnerable to actually being burst down yourself. So C9 could be going with a pretty poke-heavy comp. This is somewhat similar to some of the things they used to run in Spring, doing some Zoe Ezreal type stuff. Would not be shocked to see that added in. But Ezreal plus Yuumi is going to be a very powerful lane if they are able to land a lot of their poke. If not, certainly I think pretty weak in an all-in.
One difficulty is I believe Syndra's supposed to be good into Zoe as a matchup if I have my mid lane right. So Hasty would know for sure, but sadly I'm not a mid laner. But either way,
it can be because it's easy to set up Scout of the Week.
Right, and you're happy to run Cleanse on that champion regardless. So might get blocked here regardless. Olaf out on the table. There's actually Sivir being banned by Cloud9. They're like, okay, well you're clearly playing an engaged team. You've got hard CC and fairly reliable at that on every C9 member, on every rather Clutch Gaming member. So they're getting rid of some of the speed boosts. Clutch, of course, already have their jungler in Jarvan, so they're removing junglers.
I wonder if we'll see something along the lines of Draven ban or Lucian. I think those could make quite a bit of sense. It's actually Kaisa. Wow. So much more of a focus on the late game stuff, perhaps not as worried about Cody Sun's early game. He is much more known as kind of a late game team fighter. That's more his style. We did just see Draven Nautilus doing very well yesterday, though. Yep. We have seen Lucian Nautilus be pretty effective into this as well. Generally, those sort of aggressive early game ADs are the ones that are more likely to be able to punish. But
okay,
this is probably Cassio top for Huni, is my guess. It could be flexed around, but that is actually one of his most popular solo queue champions. Yeah. And back when Cassio was being played a ton, Huni was dominant on it.
Always want to point out the chance. We just saw it last game. Syndra bot could also be a possibility. Again, I don't really consider Cody Sun much of a non-marksman player, but he just played Sony yesterday. Yeah. We just saw Syndra bot an hour ago, so keep those in mind. Lee Sin's going to come through for Svenskeren. That's exciting here as well. And now we get to see what the rest of the comp is actually going to be, because honestly, this feels flexible enough that I'm willing to sort of wait on almost every single role here. C9 is very standard. We know where pretty much every champion's going. They need a mid laner.
And they need magic damage. I definitely don't think that they're going to want to be going full physical. TF would make some sense. That could be pretty interesting, but I might just be getting it one more time. Yeah, TF. So TF, I think, makes a lot of sense. You can play towards the Jace in the side lanes. You then kind of have this early roaming squad of TF plus Lee Sin that can move around the map and try to...
Wait, that's locked in!
Zed!
They locked it in!
Okay, this is Syndra bot. This is Zed as a counter to TF. I have heard some of the mid laners talking about this matchup and saying that it's very, very difficult for Twisted Fate. I have heard it called one of the most extreme counters in the game. I don't know if it's actually going to play out in that way, but I'm very excited to see if that is the case. Demonte here bringing out Zed. We never see this in the LCS.
That's hype.
I feel like.
That's hype. I'm excited. We saw Nuke Duck bring it out in the LEC not that long ago. We got to wait for the last few seconds. What if Cody Sun's the Zed player here?
If it's
Yo, I'm excited.
What?
Cody Sun is playing Zed. I love it.
Do you?
Anytime someone plays Zed, I love it. I'm excited about this immediately. This is a hype draft.
I am really confused. Zed bot. So I mean, we saw Yuumi Zed at Rift Rivals from G2. Obviously, did not work out there. My concern with putting Zed bot, and theoretically, Cody Sun could just be piloting the Zed and taking it mid, right?
Sure.
There is that possibility there. So we're gonna wait until we get in game before we get too much into it. But Zed, as an assassin in that dual lane, you really do need levels. So that is one of the really kind of big important things for Zed. So it can be difficult to actually get enough experience.
This is going to be exciting, though. Regardless, we've got spicy team compositions, and it seems like several of these teams decided to take notes from G2 and learn ways to flex their champions around when we get into here. Another non-standard game here for Clutch Gaming. Sona banned away. Instead, Cody Sun pilots a Zed.
Yeah, I really want to see, is the Zed going mid, or is it actually Zed Nautilus bot? Because I'm kind of struggling to see it. I mean, I guess you're going to have some all-in potential there, but farming early seems like it would be so hard against Yuumi and Ezreal. A lot of poke potential there. Ezreal also itemizes fairly well into early armor, things along the lines of the Iceborne. Could make that more difficult, but Cody is certainly positioned on the bottom side. And for the chats that I had, I really was expecting it to be Zed mid, because that is a matchup that I had been hearing hyped up quite a bit as an answer to TF, which has been gaining popularity.
Well, I know soon we will have an interview with McScrag. We're lining him up in a minute, so we can ask him directly just what's special about this, and when I hear word, we'll toss that over. But meanwhile, Clutch Gaming had initially sent Cody Sun down to the bottom lane. Now he's walked back towards mid, so it does look like they are pushing those players to their respective roles. That Zed will be a mid laner, but piloted by Cody Sun.
That makes way more sense to me. I just think it's so important to actually get the experience as a solo laner on these assassins. Zed needs to hit those breakpoints to be able to be effective in the game.
Okay, well, Avli has talked with McScrag. Please take it away.
Thanks, guys. I did chase down Coach McScrag asking about Cody Sun moving into the mid lane as Zed and bringing Demonte on the Syndra in bot. He said that this is something that they have been working on all week, including multiple other mid laners for Cody Sun, and that surprisingly, he's really good in that position. So I'm excited to see it. Back to you guys.
And they're trying to deny the blue. He
flashed for it!
Yes!
Madman! I love it!
Oh, that's the best thing I've seen all week. That was great. And now Damonte, though, a bit injured, of course, had to walk over and learn W and try to jack the blue buff. And
How many pros flash over the wall for that smite? I'm saying like 1 in
Few.
100. There's like
yeah.
there's like Svenskeren and MLXG. Those are the 2 players who will flash over that wall. But he's got that blue buff.
And he's ready to keep taking the jungle. He took the Gromp
Oh
as
my
well.
God.
He's now onto the Wolves. He's like, this is
It's a
my
great game
jungle.
already.
I'm safe. My bot lane's pushing. Lyra's taken, looks like 3 camps as well, but has his flash. And is now going to go contest his own chickens.
Yeah. But I feel like there's, a mental battle that you've won by showing your ability to do that. And that's something Lyra hasn't done yet.
That's true.
Lyra needs to come mid lane and just flash and play to assert his dominance.
Might come in. We'll see what happens. Huni, meanwhile, of course, we saw the level 1 came in and pushed Kumo off, made him burn teleport at the very beginning of the game. So that is another missing summoner that C9 don't have.
Yeah, certainly the case has been pushed back quite a bit. Here
Yes.
it is on the pro view. You can see Damonte getting pinged out quite a bit. Actually, no hesitation. Just
Yep.
straight to the wall. He's unfazed.
The thing is,
look at the man.
he didn't have to flash. His Q was up in 1 second, could have easily Q smited.
It's not about whether he had to flash.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
about sending a message.
He sent a message that he's impatient and is easily killable for the next 3 minutes. That's
And
the
also
message that I got.
that he's a boss.
I guess.
I'm loving it.
He'll talk to corporate, meet a giant fish. We'll see what else happens.
I don't get that reference. So.
Lonely Island like a boss?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. See, some of you listen to good music. Thank you, audience.
That song is old, man. I don't remember all the
Okay.
lyrics.
I've heard it in the last year. It's a great song.
Oh, there you go. All right. Back into the game here, Freak. Sneaky going to be laning up here against this Syndra. That does seem, I think, like a much more difficult matchup than it would be to go up against this Zed. Syndra Nautilus, we already saw last game, do have a really good push. Even when they were killed off in the last game, they were able to actually get a CS advantage over FBI as well as Huhi.
Cloud9
They're calling
built,
Lyra down here now.
yeah, well, Cloud9 built this into a freeze as the shove was, or as the wave was pushed forward. So it's going to be an anchor almost landing, and with Lyra defending, Clutch will be able to AoE this wave down. So down goes through the minions.
This could be a potential dive if they can get it pushed in, though. You have your jungle here. No, never mind. Damonte's too low on mana, so they are actually just using this to try to reset. But Sneaky and Zazel, for now, they're actually not even going to get the reset because they're willing to tank up a little of this minion damage, and this is a nice move. Sneaky's still sitting on his teleport. Damonte very likely will have to teleport back in and just try to get this wave reset. But even that is scary to do because you have no idea where the Lee Sin is. If Lee Sin is now sitting there at the turret and you TP back in, you could just be inting it. So he's going to have to actually make the teleport into the river and then just try to slowly walk forward and make sure that gets fully reset.
And teleports used in the bottom and mid lanes. Niski is going attack damage with Fate. I know we mentioned in Champ Select the need for some magic damage potentially in this roster, and Niski will still deal some stacked deck. Of course, his magic damage, pick a card, wild cards. There's some extra contributions there, but it is still attack damage TF.
Yeah, and that to me tells me that they're looking for more of a split push style of gameplay, which I think definitely can work. C9 has not been a team that has ever really been afraid of kind of full physical compositions. They will have some mixed damage, obviously, from the Ezreal, some from the TF, and then Yuumi is adding some magic damage in there, so it's it's not all bad. We will see exactly what sort of style of build Lyra wants to go, but Lyra could get some preferential itemization if he wants to just go full tank J4, stack up the armor. That could be helping him out. Especially, I think, in a world where you have, quite a bit of damage on your squad already. Maybe he's going to feel pretty comfortable to do that.
Recalls coming through. Kumo, of course, without TP, gets 3 long swords and takes the long way back up to the lane. I think he's... There we go. Okay, walks his way over now. And Huni, I think, is actually holding on to somewhat of a freeze up here. The wave is bigger on Kumo's side, so I think it'll be actually a lot of farm loss. You can already see it's 29 to 45 in CS, and it's going to get worse for him. So top lane going well so far, and again, a lot of that earned by the fact that that level 1 was very brutal and it forced a TP out.
Yeah, anytime you're going to have to TP level 1 and your opponent is TPing back for lane later on, you are going to be in a pretty rough spot. Cody-san, though, looking to try to set up any potential all-in. Niski, the other advantage of kind of going for this phase rush when you are going the ADTF is that's more HP early on, right? He has the stopwatch rune. He's waiting for that to come online. Svenskeren is sitting behind him. And maybe Niski can walk forward a little bit more and try to bait this.
They knew Sven. They saw him on a warp, but they're going to go for this anyway. Niski's going to hold the gold card. Cody's going to hold on to his ultimate because he can dodge this time with that one. And Lyra flag and drags away. Again, they knew Lee Sin was around. They didn't burn the big summoners or any big cooldowns. And made him show again.
Yeah, it's really interesting here, the thought process of AD versus, AP on the TF. Certainly, I think at this point, you're tankier than you would be even if you had, like, Seekers. I think just the flat HP is more useful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're not going to build into his Zhonya's nearly as easily, which is so helpful against the Zed, unless you want to do some sort of interesting hybrid build.
Oh, nice turnaround. Predicts the Petrifying Gaze. And he was correct about that one. So Huni without an ultimate. But Svenskeren is not 6. They're still going to push in. They're going to try. TF coming as well. There's not a lot of ways out. He's got flash, but no TP. There's a lot of big damage. The burst coming across. That's first blood. Niski holds the aggro. And a clean tower dive for Cloud9.
Yeah, that was really well done. Honestly, no chance for Huni once he's used the ultimate. There's no way you're going to be able to outplay that. So Cloud9, very clean dive. Doesn't even cost them a summoner. Sneaky and Zeyzal will be pushed back off his turret a little bit. They'll lose a plate. But looking like not much more than, the few CS as well as that turret play. So certainly much better trade for Cloud9 on the top side, especially when you realize Huni was starting to really win that lane quite a bit, and Kumo needed the help.
He really needed the help, but that was really nice. The plate was also taken up there, so some of that gold shared back over. Top lane is still, it's 70 gold down. With the assist and the plate, he's actually pretty much fine there in the that matchup. It has his own TP, or his own flash as well.
Yeah, that was just really nice from Kumo, anticipating that Huni would look for the ultimate out of his jump forward. Once he has that reset, there's no way out for Huni here. Waits, gold card hits. Svenskeren knows you do not use your Q until he is stunned by the gold card. That's point and click. It cannot be outplayed. So once that lands, it guarantees the Lee Sin is going to hit both parts of the Q, and Huni has no chance to survive.
Intelligent patience coming through there, and that's solid stuff. Right now we've got about 1,000 gold lead for the Cloud9 side. Twisted Fate and Ezreal Kleptomancy being a small part of that, but still I think they are winning on the map overall. We can see some comparisons to a gold lead in the bottom lane despite equal CS. Kleptomancy at work, of course. Supports right now better last hitting from Vulcan setting up.
Yeah, and thus far, the Zed has not really been able to get much done, right? Stopwatch is almost online. TF farming pretty much even. Went to the top side, got a kill there. So I do think there is a little bit of pressure on Cody Sun to be able to kind of get the ball rolling. Generally speaking, on these assassins, you need to be playing from ahead to really have a lot of threat, I feel like, in team fights.
Well, he's going to hope he can do it because the bottom lane is going to be a bit more difficult for Devontae, as Sneaky is actually going towards a very early Hex Drinker in his build. Tears Gene, but then the Longsword plus the Null Magic Mantle. That means he might actually have extra durability against this Syndra early on, as the minions are cleared away once again, and a temporary gold lead, or I should say at least farm lead for the Clutch Gaming duo.
I mean, there's so much burst damage on the side of Clutch that I think it makes sense for Sneaky to go a very defensive build, right? You can go Iceborne and Hex Drinker and feel totally fine about that when you're looking over and you're seeing Cassio, Zed, and Syndra. If they're not able to kind of one-combo you, then things start to look pretty bad for them, I feel like, in the extended fight against this style of composition where we know that Yuumi and Ezreal are really going to be able to get a lot of damage out.
Well, Stopwatch now available for Niski. So the first time around, he can do it just like he had a Zhonya's and juke away either the first half of the Zedel, which I think is the better one, or the Deathmark damage pop at the end, whichever one you kind of prefer. Those are the common ones to aim for here as Cody Sun keeps going for wave clear, finds the poke. Nice job, lands both Qs, and gets the electrocute now as well, as they keep trading farm back and forth. Gold pretty equal.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to try to, to get this tower down on the bot side and then send Cody Sun to a side lane. That's traditionally how we saw Zed used mostly. Huni, though, going to be pushed off his turret. He just has to sit back and watch as he loses all this farm. And they are making this play down to the bottom side. TF ultimate was popped, I think, just to try to dissuade that potential dive. Yuumi ultimate came out as well, and they are getting some pretty good poke and keeping this alive. And meanwhile, Huni's losing a lot. Sneaky and Zeyzal did not really lose too much there. Whereas, that's now 2 waves that are going to be fully crashing into this turret, and lost another turret plate probably here too.
I will say, though, CS difference is still in the favor of Huni, and even more so in the favor of Demonte. Plate difference also actually favoring Clutch. So though they're not dying, there's still nice arcane shift. Good flash as well. The re-engage towards Lyra could be dangerous to flash onto the wall, but the projectile, it will slow. This might be a setup. They've already killed top lane, and the wild card's lying over the wall as well. Now a trade back is, we're going to watch that top lane fight afterwards in a replay, but a big scuffle up there. And now for round 2, Kumo gonna get double killed. Cody Sun on Zed is doing work.
Oh, that's just what Clutch needed there. Cody Sun with the pop-off, but likewise on the bottom side, Sneaky absolutely outplayed that. This was so well done from Sneaky. So now we're going to watch this top lane dive. The
Nice
flash,
ult.
kick, knocks him back, hits the Q. Was a well-timed ult there from Huni, and had that not been a kick flash, he would have actually been able to likely, turn that around. As a result, Cody Sun here, though, gets the initial kill without using the death mark, and just able to easily train down this Zed for the double kill.
A good pickup there, and you've got a mid laner on both sides. One has a global teleport, one has to walk. He's even got Ignite, and they've been in the same number of kills now across. Yomus is done. Extra serrated Dirk picked up now. Triforce completed for Niski. And yeah, stopwatch means he's probably still not the 1v1 target, but Cody Sun is quickly very rich and actually some of the most gold in the game.
Yeah, I mean, now with those 2 kills, he got a shutdown as well. You're now on double lethality. If you're able to find, the Jace or even this Ezreal, like, you can one combo them pretty comfortably. Like, these guys have no HP and no armor, really at all. So Sneaky likely going to be building towards this Iceborne, as you see an additional mana crystal in there. But for now, he is very, very squishy.
Q lens on Vulcan, not going to chase that one through, but they're going to find some damage at the very least. Nice couple of hits right there as Wave Clear continues. And we still sit at a 1,000 gold difference right here. Niski, the gold leader in the game.
And it's been a lot of pressure on opposite sides of the map. Cloud9 have been playing much more to that top side, whereas this Ezreal pick was clearly kind of taken to just survive, right? And Sneaky and Zazel have been withstanding the onslaught on the bot side, but as a result, they've lost 3 turret plates. They are down, the 16-odd CS. So teams have advantages on either side. We'll see who can kind of make better use of that.
And here comes the attempt towards Kumo. Does have the ulti, puts it
No
down
flash.
right there. No flash, but puts him back over the wall. Here comes the rest of the squad, though. Looking for damage. They're going to find that when the fields are in. They don't find the damage, but Cody Sun gets number 3. And it's going to be another kill traded around, though. C9 2-1 on the top side.
Yeah, despite that ultimate being pretty damn good for Huni, they did not have the burst damage to actually finish off that early kill, and then Huni just got absolutely erased. Cody Sun, though, sitting on his ultimate still here. They could look for Svenskeren. Hook doesn't land, but that could have potentially been something on Svenskeren there, who does not have a lot to keep himself safe against this Zed. And here is the play once more. Kumo without a flash. But C9 is already on the roam up here. You'd think that they would be able to finish off this kill, but the sidestep on that, I missed that in the initial play. Kumo again avoiding that ultimate twice in a row there, despite the fact that it did land on Niski. The stun not hitting Jace means he gets bursted down.
And they get the trade and they get the follow-up afterwards. So we can see the comparison of these mid laners. Again, Twisted Fate up in gold as you kind of expect, but both mid laners doing a lot in this game, getting out to the side lanes, doing good work. I would not have, if you told me without nameplates that Cody Sun was the first time mid laner, I wouldn't have believed you. He's doing great so far, but he's got to fight for the Drake now. Shot barrage! Oh my gosh, Vulcan just death grip. He's gone. And now this is going to be an easy Infernal Drake. No spike going to be found. That's Infernal, not a Cloud9. They're going to maybe find the root as well. Huni forces flash. And out goes Clutch off a C9 win.
Yeah, Cloud9, just so much poke in this composition. Vulcan basically didn't even have anyone on his screen, and he goes down. And once he is out of there, Cloud9 take easy control of that Dragon Pit. Could be able to go over to mid lane here, get a bit of damage down on this turret as well, as another wave is coming in. But Cody Sun arriving, Vulcan has respawned, and they are going to try to push them back.
All right, back to the reset here as 2,500 gold puts Cloud9 ahead, plus the arguably better Drake overall. As Clutch Gaming must now lick their wounds. Hoping to keep up with now a squad that, Clutch temporarily now out of playoff position with the Golden Guardians win earlier. They do have to make up some time, make up some games in the second round robin. And right now, C9, they're better so far.
Yeah, certainly sitting in a really comfortable position thus far. And Damonte, while he has been farming well on the bottom side, has not really been involved in anything. We have seen the Yuumi and Ezreal kind of have more involvement in the action thus far, moving around a little bit more out of their lane. And Cloud9 is going to get to this position where I think you're going to have to kind of hard engage on the side of Clutch, or you're just going to get poked out, right? There's going to be the Jace poke, Ezreal poke, Yuumi nonstop, wild cards, and if you take too much of that, there's not a lot of kind of resiliency on a lot of these members. Cassio gets hit by a poke or two, Syndra gets hit by a poke or two, and you're going to be pushed back to base very quickly.
Definitely the case, so watch out for those as the items are coming through. Gonna have a more aggressive build out of Svenskeren, building towards his Black Cleaver. So no tanks on this roster whatsoever. It's going to make it a bit harder for C9 to pilot in team fights as CG do have engaged tools. More poke towards Vulcan. Look at the attempt. They're going to find the push in. There's going to be a lot of damage on Aniski. They're going to pop the stopwatch, try to stay alive. Here comes the re-engage. Coming around the rest of the team. 1 for 0 so far. Cody Sun's dropped as well. 2 for 1, 3 for 1. It's Cloud9 walking all over their opponents. And here comes the next play. Gold card around the back. Damage almost onto Demonte. Huni will die, and suddenly Syndra is alone. Going to find some poke towards Niski. Almost takes him out. He's got to watch out for this one. There's the prowling projectile. They're still going to almost find the slow, but not quite.
They can keep chasing, though. It's just the speed-ups aren't going to stop, but they do back off.
Not gonna find that stun though. Second Q comes up in 3 seconds. Jumps forward, finds the slow of the ward hop. That's gonna be enough. Zazel claims the kill, and Cloud9, an unofficial ace, taking down Clutch.
Yeah, and I don't think they lost anyone except Kumo, so it's a 5 for 1, and they get that mid lane turret. A massive win there for Cloud9. They got the Rift Herald as well on Niski, and this one is looking rough now. They decide to go for this all in, but the stopwatch buys so much time, and you could be channeling that ultimate coming out of Yumi here during the stopwatch, right? So they're not able to really finish off Niski. They're getting punished very heavily during that, and once that stopwatch has expired, it's a simple flash out for TF, and they're able to get the eventual chase down. The long fights is going heavily in the favor of Cloud9. You know, Syndra and Zed especially need to have someone pop right off the bat, but Cloud9 is building defensively, and I think building very intelligently for this style of game.
The easy ward out forward. Pretty good mechanics out of Svenska, and of course dodged a lot of these from Fog of War. Syndra stuns, predicted when the spells were going to come out. End of the day, yeah, as you mentioned, 5 for 1 in the team fight.
Yeah, and I mean, look at a lot of these builds. Right now it's a GA already on Svenskeren. It's Iceborne plus the Hexdrinker plus Merc Shreds on Sneaky. You know, these are defensive builds because they don't need to maximize DPS. You don't have to shred through a tank. You just hit your abilities on these guys and you're going to be knocking them down. So Cloud9 now out to a nearly 6,000 gold lead plus the Infernal Dragon. Clutch are going to need something really special to try to get back into this game, it feels like.
Well, they've got aggressive builds themselves. Lyra does have Warrior, and that could be either Warmogs or it could be Black Cleaver. Base what he wants to go for, so it could still be a very aggressive team as the Archangels also stacks up for Huni. Now the kick in the top side finds the stun onto Sneaky, but it's still way too much damage and out of range is Svenskeren by the time the stun does land. So it's going to be a lot of damage to the turret, down to half HP. He's got to still be respectful on this Lee Sin, but the chase down still happens. The minions are still there to tank up the turret shots, and it looks like they're going to grab this one. Now Kumo and Cody Sun in a fight right here. Zedol comes in to round through the spells, but Kumo just does too much damage and solo kills the opposing mid laner.
Yeah, it was close, but Cody Sun does go down, and bad goes to worse for Clutch. They're losing on all sides of the map, and Cloud9 is just being so good about executing every time TF Ultimate is up. Every time they see someone a little bit out of position, they're able to pull off these dives and really heavily punish Clutch. I mean, Huni is sitting at 0 and 5 now at this point. A lot of those deaths are under his turret.
Yeah, he's actually broke right now. Only has more money than his own jungler, and both supports having a hard time on this one, despite the discomfort on the champion. The ganks repeatedly to the top lane have worked out for C9.
I mean, this is just an absurd gold lead right now. 8K up at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Cloud9 really would have to bumble this game for Clutch to be able to kind of scrape their way back in, barring some sort of miracle series of plays from Clutch. It feels like their only option right now is to try to play side lanes, delay the game, and hope that Cody Sun can get some sort of picks, because that's really your only strong member right now. But the fact that he actually lost to the Jace in the 1v1, who was probably one of the weaker members on Cloud9, did not bode too well.
Blue goes over to Niski, no problem. But still going to hope for some kind of way in, but it does seem increasingly unlikely. They are typically an early game team with lots of early turrets. This time it's not happening. They don't even have one right now.
Looking for the play around mid, though. I do like this. You know, group up, look to see if you can find some sort of use from your hard engage, right? You have Jarvan, you have Nautilus, and you do have burst damage. So try to make something happen, but as these waves are getting pushed in, both top and bot, you know, you need some sort of response, right? You can't just ignore these waves forever. Kumo is going to be up to the turret, but Humi's looking for a flank.
Gonna find some slows, big damage on Aniski. Not gonna find the engage, the dive, but they do force a couple of ultis out. That's now Yumi without hers. Looking at the re-engage now towards Sneaky, but he knows the arcane shift. He's safe the whole time, so Lyra can't get anything else done.
Yeah, and Kumo's just taking the turret, right? You know, you're losing out on this in the meantime. If you cannot pull off that dive, then they're just passively chipping away at you. But a good attempt from Clutch. They've got to do something like that and have it work out to really be able to get a hold of this game whatsoever. You can see Rapid Fire now completed for Niski. The additional range on that gold card is quite effective as a means of picking opponents out and looking for that sort of engage.
Mercury treads from 3 of them, making it harder for Damonte to do much of his job, and further items added on top. Kuma once again heading up this side of the map. This turret very, very low. Nice job. Checks the brush. Not going to be there. Shock Blast does reveal.
Yeah, we'll be able to push this up and still going to be feeling pretty confident about his 1v1 versus Huni here. But Huni is scaling up, so there is an opportunity perhaps for him to get something done later on. But I do just think it becomes very difficult when poke teams are ahead and they are looking to push that advantage.
Gold card, a lot of burst damage. Damonte deleted. Niski now on a rampage, and Lyra forced to run away. Not slow just yet, but still flashing back to his own turret to stay alive. Another kill picked up, and C9 ready to siege in the top lane as bot falls as well.
Yeah, they're just looking for this inhibitor tower now. Huni, though, trying to find something.
Oh, but Vulcan's just gone. Huni kicked back, slowed, bursted, attacked by all sides. Gonna get back to his base and stay alive, but there's still no engage. Lyra goes in by himself and pops a Guardian Angel for his life. He knew he would die and gets only an item cooldown. That seems wrong as the base still falls. The other side of the map is getting split apart. 3 kills and as many turrets also down.
Yeah, Clutch is just getting destroyed by Cloud9 at this point, and we're seeing just how effective this TF Yuumi combo is. Not only is 1 man ulting it, it's 2 as the Yuumi shows up.
Okay, this time they might have it. He's gonna flash in, stopwatch burn. And here is Zed over the top. No way out for Kumo. Not gonna get the trade. Just barely Damonte lives.
That was so close to getting that cross kill. But still, in the meantime, yeah, Kumo goes down, but that is a free Baron here for Cloud9. You send your whole team to pick off that Jace, and you lose the all-important Baron buff, and now Cloud9, it feels like, have everything they need to just close out this game. They are in such a commanding position. We already saw them break the base without the Baron buff, and I don't see how you're ever going to be able to defend the turrets against this much poke and this much damage.
Ever since Svenskeren flashed for a blue buff, you knew it was over from there.
Over,
They're just so willing to play forward. And I gotta say, I've been impressed by C9 so far this split. Niski, I think, has really stepped up. I think he's been absolutely stellar. Svenskeren also making the case for best jungler in the league, and I think he's kind of increasingly doing so in these games.
I think Svenskeren is even making a case for MVP potentially.
Sure.
He's been incredibly good for C9. C9 sitting up at the top of the table, so certainly a lot of people standing up and recognizing just how important his contributions have. But Cloud9 now marching it down mid lane will look to siege on this turret, and the poke will just not relent.
We're gonna go for this one pretty heavily. Still 2.5 minutes on the Baron buff. It was grabbed recently. Ow! That is big damage on Huni right there at half HP. Lyra chopped as well.
Yeah, and so is Vulcan. Damonte's lost a third of health. Vulcan lost about 40% of his health there. All of it sent back to base, and this is going to be the inhibitor turret falling, which gives them access not only to this inhibitor, but the other one in the bot lane, which is already exposed. So, Cloud9 have a pushing top lane even. They have set this up so incredibly well. You're just waiting for this wave in the top side to be pushing in, and you could potentially take all 3 inhibitors here in the next minute or 2.
Lyra's going to try, put 3 of them in and pop the stopwatch. Here comes the engage. Clutch must win this somehow. Damage towards Sneaky, but it's not going to be enough. Just barely stays alive, but 1 is traded back. Big damage is there, and Sneaky was so close to death. That was almost a miracle play, but it's still Cloud9 feeling comfortable. Sneaky can recall and easily TP back in, and they can keep pushing in. Bottom inhibitor gonna be under attack. 4 on 4
Sneaky's
on
gotta
the
be careful
map.
with that TP. He just went right in their face.
Oh, he's not gonna get caught just yet. They are not gonna kill him. He's able to arcane shift if he had to.
Yeah, I was worried about the miasma, but maybe not up on cooldown, because that can be layered on TP, but they're just poking them down. And 2 inhibitors have now fallen. They still have that top wave prepped if they want, but it looks like they're going to head down towards the dragon, be able to grab this for themselves. And TF Yuumi, just such a powerful combo. The fact that the Yuumi follows alongside with you means they're able to set up these 3-man plays out of nowhere. You think you're in a 1v1, all of a sudden TF and Yuumi do both arrive. But here's the engage one more time. Clutch knows they need to go for it before they get poked down anymore. Lyra, a great ultimate, catching 3 members. Cody-san diving back into that back line, just barely not able to take down Sneaky. The gold card from Niski was critical there to keeping him alive. One more auto surely would have gotten that kill and may have been able to allow them to defend their second inhibitor.
Yeah, one level, one anything would have been the difference in damage. Very tight margins there, but it's still Cloud9 walking away with the lead, and that's what gold leads do for you. A good engage can be turned around by simply having more stats. That was, of course, the case there. Sneaky, the same level as Cody Sun, a duo versus a solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
ahead.
looking at Niski now, he has his IE. Like, this guy is absolutely fed, so he is going to be putting out some very serious damage. GA is done on Kumo. The GA coming back up pretty soon here for Svenskeren as well, and Cloud9 just marching it down. It's got to be an engage now. You have to feel like for Clutch. If you go up the third inhib, it's certainly over.
Flash ult comes out of Huni, but not going to find the stun. He attempted it, but it wasn't quite there. Escapes come in for C9's side, and they're going to push now for a little bit more. Baron's going to time out, but they've already bought, so they are very far ahead in items. The flash in for Vulcan. Going to find a stun onto the back line. There's the big engage. Cody Sun over the top, but he's going to get dropped as well. Niski unstoppable, and here comes the rest of it. Clear's going to try, but it's not going to be enough. A single kill comes in onto Kumo. 4v3 should still look doable as the Miasma comes in, but doesn't do very much. Niski finds a stun. Big damage to Demonte. Now Vulcan's the target. True Shot Barrage gets them low as well as the last inhibitor drops and the minions are inside of the base. And an easy push is going to happen. Cloud9 going to close a 28-minute game as Clutch hopes somehow that they find a miracle. The last turret going to fall. The minions still flooding into the Nexus. Look at the burst damage. Look at the low health bars. Demonte, one more shot will kill him, but it's not quite going to do it. Onto the fountain they go, and Cloud9 going to take down Clutch Gaming 2-0 for Kumo.
Yeah, what a dominating win as well. 14,000 gold is the advantage, not to mention the 3 dragons. C9 looking really, really strong. Another mid laner coming out here for Niski as well. Great weekend for him.
Yep.
But I've got to say, it all came down to Svenskeren flashing over the wall with the blue buff at level 1.
That's all it was.
That's really the pivotal point of the game.
From then, it was everything. Beautiful stuff. Cloud9 temporarily alone in first place, and they just beat Team Liquid yesterday, so they are, I think, rising in their stock price. They are rising in popularity. They are doing incredibly well.
And I think it's so encouraging for them to be doing this well with Kumo.
Yes.
Right? You know, Licorice, who a lot of people would point to as C9's kind of big star player, or certainly at least one of them, you know, is out with the wrist issues, and Kumo has been incredible thus far in his 2 games. Certainly filling those shoes very, very well.
Definitely mechanically great. His decisions seem on point. Was a bit high on deaths, but that's where the action was. I don't even really blame him for some of these deaths here. In some cases, it got his team Baron. Sadly, a 0-2 run for Clutch here. I did like Cody Sun on the Zed. I thought he played it well. He seemed to be useful, was roaming, was fighting nicely, but a lot of the rest of the map was bleeding away. The Niski TP's top to crush Huni's matchup that made it very hard to work.
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, I think that Cody Sun did look pretty good in some of those engages, but it's a tough champion to execute on, and that's always been one of the big reasons we don't see it a lot in pro play is how do you win the game once you get ahead with Zed? And you know, the big concern for me was he wasn't even able to get ahead in the 1v1, which is kind of like why it felt like they picked it.
Sure. Well, either way, it went well for Cloud9. We're going to send down Avli, who's ready for an interview with C9's rookie top laner.
Thanks, guys. Kumo, congratulations. 2-0 for Cloud9 this weekend. But for you, across your 3 games played in LCS, you have a 100% win rate, completely undefeated. So I know Cloud9 has all of these phenomenal players, but are you their next secret weapon?
Maybe. I wouldn't say so. I mean, I didn't really do much today's game, and I mean, I just sat back and got carried pretty much. But the other games I did well, yeah.
Well, yeah, they were focusing you hard today, but yesterday you popped off and had so many different plays. So what did you think about your performance maybe as a whole this weekend?
I think I did pretty well with what I was working with.
Sick, all right, I like that. Well, tell me a little bit about your transition going from the Academy team to playing with the LCS team. I don't know how last minute maybe the Licorice transition was for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty last minute because Eric told us before Rift Rivals, but it was like after the roster lock, so he still had to play Rift Rivals. So basically, I just scrimmed for a week before playing today and yesterday.
I like that, getting a lot of practice in under your belt. When I talked to Coach Reapert about you before going into your match yesterday, he said that, you know what, don't even worry about Kumo. He can kind of take care of himself, which is probably the highest praise that I have ever heard him give a player. So what do you think about yourself in terms of your skill matching up against these other top laners in the LCS?
I mean, I think I'm LCS ready, but I do have a lot of work on still. But yeah, I think I'm ready for LCS for sure.
Kumo, thank you and congratulations again on the win. And for more on that game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. 2-0 weekend for C9 with Kumo in the lineup. Do you see what he was working with there?
One of the best teams in the LCS?
One of the best teams in the league, yes. That's exactly right. It's definitely make the transition a little smoother to the LCS stage when you have somebody like Svenskeren manning the jungle for you, making plays left and right. Overall, for Cloud9, though, they continue to impress even without Licorice, one of their stars on the stage.
I mean, this draft is just like Lee Sin's like dream, where it's like there's no hard CC really. It's all squishies. It's all damage. So I just get to go wherever I want and pick fights. I still think it made sense given for C9's bot lane to be a very sit back and absorb pressure with Ezreal Yuumi so that they can kite backwards while you make these plays elsewhere on the map. Whereas on Clutch's side, it's just aggression everywhere.
Well, I think the TF Lee Sin combo is really the bread and butter behind this because those two essentially control mid game and mid lane like no other because the layering of card into Lee Sin is just ridiculous to deal with. And so anytime that one goes off the map, you got to account for it. So people have to back off, you play defensively, and it makes it so that a champion like Zed, who is supposed to be the counter into Lee Sin, can't do that. You can't be aggressive. You cannot use Shadow and overstep because the second you do, Lee Sin's there to kill you because he can one-shot you as well when he has kicks. So it's a really nice draft out of Cloud9, and I like what Clutch Gaming did to try it out, completely shake things up, but you need a lot of practice to make sure that your bot lane AD carry can actually play Zed. It's not like G2 where you actually have a Zed player going into AD and...
To be fair, I thought Cody was largely...
He actually did all right.
He was largely fine. The problem was the Cassio is just such a huge tell it's going top, especially once you've already taken the Jace. So the TF is the big counter to that, where you're going to get constantly camped top, and that's exactly what happened, where, Huni's laning phase was really good. He was up like 20, 30 CS, but then this starts happening, and he ends up, I think, with the most deaths on his team because they realized, we'll just shut Huni down. That's the biggest problem we're going to face this whole game.
Yeah, we talk about Svenskeren constantly as, one of the early game catalysts for Cloud9, but I think the TF, as you mentioned here, Mark, has to be called out. Niski piloting this one. We saw from a number of the European teams how good this pick can be at snowballing leads and playing the map. C9 beginning to show themselves that they have a bit of a mastery over the champion. Combo that with the Yuumi as well. Oof, it's disgusting.
He's very strong right now.
I quite say overpowered.
Should I say, but the caveat is that he's actually quite difficult to play, which is why not every team picks him up. And AD is still not making him any easier. It's just a matter of, can your mid laner pull this champion off? And if you can, you pretty much have to ban it. It's one of those picks kind of like when Nidalee jungle was a thing. Can your jungler play it? If not, don't worry about it. If they do, you have to ban it because it's too powerful in the right hand.
The thing is, it still requires a lot of teamwork, so I don't think it's this easy champion to lock in for like a bottom tier team who doesn't quite have the
You
teamwork.
think so? I don't think it needs that. It needs like one other person to be with you, and as long as you have that coordination.
Yeah, but you also need to go and support your lanes, like the dives that they executed top lane to save Kumo and those kinds of things, as well as the TP in the bot lane. I think it's harder than you're giving it credit for, otherwise everyone would be playing it.
I'm banking on the fact that almost all the time the enemy team is not accounting for the TF Mia. Because you have to call it every single time. You have to get a deep ward in his lane, and if you don't account for it, then someone's gonna make the over-aggressive play, then gets ported in, and then gets counter-ganked. Because who called this? Like, I've been saying Mia like 5 times.
I mean, he definitely is a global, so he puts extra pressure on you, and that's why that bot lane play went bad. Because like, they went top, let's go force play in the bot lane. Oh, well, TF TP's down there after using his ult top. So I totally get what you're saying, but I still think having to play with TF is still a different beast than like Nidalee back in the day, where it was like, slap that thing in, it's gonna crush early game. So it's very potent. I bet we'll start seeing more of it, and maybe it starts hitting the ban table.
Yeah, in general, some slick adaptations for Cloud9 here in a week where they had to sub out their starting top laner. Again, looking at maybe pulling some things from the LEC in terms of the draft, the way we've been asking for them, and actually being able to execute on it is that second step that some of our teams have yet to fulfill.
I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Kumo, though. I mean, mechanically, he's super on point, especially with the Jace that we saw yesterday as well. The dive onto Huni, he cues onto him and immediately backs away. But here's where you get another layer of why that play is really cool when he turns back around and doesn't get hit by the stun. So you're pushing the wave. You're setting the wave up to crash it so that the dive comes through. So no matter what, he's already making the right move. The mechanics follow it up, and then the team gets to follow up, which is just such a breath of fresh air out of our top laners.
I mean, it's everything working together because Kumo on a team that's struggling probably doesn't get the TF support coming when he needs it and maybe just gets crushed by the Cassio. So it really was, you know, he said himself in his interview, my team did a great job supporting me. I mean, he does deserve a lot of credit, but it was a team effort.
All right, there you have it. 2-0 weekend for Cloud9 with Kumo in the lineup. We're stepping away when we return. 100 Thieves and Team Liquid face off. We'll see you here after this.